y'all, and welcome back to Writing the Moneymaker. I'm Riley, and I'm a personal and financial development coach. Have you ever had trouble starting out a goal and then not being able to see it through to the end? In today's episode, I'll be revealing the 2 key things that you add on to any standard goal setting process to make sure that you achieve what it is you set out to do. For those who aren't familiar with SMART goals, I am going to go through those first. A SMART goal gives you a good, strong template for making sure that what you want to achieve is well structured. SMART goals are a very common tool that's used throughout the business world. You can use them in your personal life or at school or anywhere that you think it might be appropriate. With a SMART goal, you need to make sure that you're covering off 5 key elements. Those elements include being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. I'm going to go into why each of the steps is important on their own. A goal needs to be specific, but you need to define what is different between now, what's happening currently, and what the achieved goal state will look like. A lot of people have weight loss goals. Many of those goals are going to wind up being, I want to lose weight, I want to look better. But in your mind, what does that actually mean? How much weight do you want to lose? 5 kilos? 20 kilos? Those are going to be very different goals. Having a specific goal, you are able to actually define what it is you're working towards. The next bit is measurable. So having a unit of measure for your goal will make it so that you're able to track progress. You'll be able to see how your initial state is different from your final state. In the case of I want to lose weight, maybe I want to lose 5 kilograms. I can measure that because I can go and get on the scales and check what my weight is right now, and every day I can check what my weight has changed to. Maybe I want to create a new website for myself. But my specific goal is I will be launching a website that has 12 different functions. By making it more specific, I've created a way I can measure the difference between what's right now, which might just be a landing page, to it being able to do a set number of things, and those things I can count and I can measure. The next bit, is achievable. Achievable means that there is an end state and you can reach it. Going back to that weight loss example, then you will know your goal has been achieved when you are 5 kilos less than you are right now. You will know that your website goal has been achieved when the site can perform 12 different functions. It's also a way to sense check that the specific goal was appropriately specific. The 4th one is an R, and it's realistic. By realistic, it means realistic for you and your circumstances. It doesn't have to be something that you can already do. It's just something that you can work towards. It might be a stretch goal, which means you have to work a little bit harder. It's just out of reach, not 100% in your comfort zone, and maybe you have to learn something new, but it is doable. I'm not recommending not to choose a goal that is well outside of your wheelhouse, but if you do pick something that might be quite difficult or quite different from what is already within your skill set, you might want to make certain considerations for the next step in the SMART goal setting process. The final step in the SMART goal is making it time-bound. So you need to have a cutoff at which point you're going to evaluate how your goal is actually tracking and whether or not you've achieved it. This is another important step for 2 reasons. First off, it gives you a day to work towards, so then you can plan all of your incremental steps and strategies with that date in mind. The other reason it's important is because if a goal is not working or the steps you're taking aren't working, you need to have a point at which you stop, reset, and have a look at how you're going to change things. Okay, so those are the SMART goal basics. Now on my SMART goal, I also have 2 additional bits, and I'm going to talk about those right now. The first part is showing yourself a bit of self-empathy, and we'll go into that. And the second bit is giving yourself some intrinsic motivation. Self-empathy means that you are treating yourself like a person who you care about. A lot of people set out on goals to change themselves with a lot of really negative self-talk. So you're creating a self-defeating dialogue in your head that you're already not good enough. By continuing that dialogue, it makes it very hard to push yourself towards the next step, which is the intrinsic motivation. But also, it's not the way that you would treat anyone else. Think about how you would encourage absolutely anyone else. So you could think of your best friend, or a pet, or a child, or an employee. If you just sit there and berate them, they are going to disengage. They're not going to perform as well as they could. That's not the ideal way to reinforce strong habit-forming behaviors. Instead, you should cultivate a series of behaviors where you reward yourself, or at least reflect in a proactive way on the steps you have taken. So, if you do start beating yourself up, you've missed out on a really important opportunity to observe what didn't work and make a plan with yourself for what can work next time. And by treating yourself like a normal human who can learn from your own mistakes, you are showing an appropriate amount of self-empathy. And this is something that keeps us from getting self-defeating towards our goals and makes it much easier to show steady progress and keep working towards those goals without having the goal start to leave a bad taste in your mouth. The final element is developing a sense of intrinsic motivation. So this is something inside of you that's letting you drive yourself towards wanting to achieve these goals. Many people say they want to lose those 5 kilograms because it's what society says you should do. So some people are actually quite good at having their own intrinsic motivation, their own drive to achieve goals. Intrinsic motivation is a skill you can learn. I'm going to show you something I do to make sure that I'm achieving my goals and to encourage my brain to use intrinsic motivation to drive me towards these goals. On my keychain, I have this little key ring. It's got little plastic protectors on front and back. I got it at the Japanese store, Daiso, and it's actually a study flashcard system. Now I have this one in particular because I can put it on my key ring and take it with me anywhere I go, and I can keep it very handy. I've also in the past used index cards, which can be hard to come by in New Zealand. In the US they're quite common. It doesn't 100% matter which form you use, but it is important that you choose something. I write down my SMART goal on the one side of it. The next side is where the intrinsic motivation part comes in. One of my goals is to pay off my student loans by the end of 2020. So that gives me roughly 2 years. In addition to having that goal set, I have visualized how I, as my future self, will feel when I have the opportunity to pay off that final payment. And when I close my eyes and I think about it, I feel such a sense of euphoria and relief.
And I write it down on the other side of the card so I have both with me, the goal and how it feels.
So if your goal is to lose those 5 kilograms, how will you feel if you do lose them? See if you can find something within you about how you will feel about achieving this goal. This does need to be something that works for you specifically, and it needs to be something that is actually, oh yeah, I do feel that way, for you specifically. If it's something someone else has told you and you're like, oh, yeah, I suppose that's probably true, it's not going to work. It needs to be something that is a truth for you. That is goal setting for success. Thank you again for watching Writing the Moneymaker with me. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button if you are interested in learning more about succeeding. If you got value from this topic, please feel free to reach out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, I hope all's alright with you.